50 people out there, multimillionaires. He has an exclusive list of clients that he mentors and takes on only about 10 every 3 years, but you are getting his advice right here, right now.
This is a lot of free advice for nothing. Joining us now for a Fox Business exclusive is David C.M. Carter. He is the mentor and author of the new book, Breakthrough. David, it is a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. All right. First off, if the folks out there watching this segment think, you know, I'm not living up to my potential, I'm not doing exactly what I know I can do, even if I'm in the right job, I'm not performing as I should be able to perform, what's the first question a person like that should ask themselves?
I think actually it's in your question, which is, am I being the best version of myself? As a manager, as a colleague, as a boss, as an entrepreneur. And I think 99% of people on this planet know that there's always a 5-degree course correction that they can make in what they're doing to be a better version of themselves. And let's face it, if we made a 5-degree course correction every week for 20 weeks, we'd end up 100% changed at the end of that period of time. So I think if that's a really great question. Am I being the best version of myself in everything I'm doing?
Well, you know, then it becomes the question of what should I be feeling right now? If I know I can be better than that, what should success feel like? You talk about that as a question, and it seems a little amorphous. Can you kind of dig down and describe how somebody can ask themselves that question and then become better?
I think that success is directly linked to happiness and wealth rather than money. And money and wealth are two very different things. And actually, at the end of the day, we don't like underperforming our own potential. No one does. If I know I could be a better dad, a better colleague, a better boss, I don't like not being the best version of myself. However, change is actually very difficult for people, and most people aren't naturally self-motivated and self-managing to start a change program. That's why all top sports people have a coach. That's why programs like Weight Watchers are so successful, because it's kind of peer pressure and peer mentoring. And that's why one of the things that I encourage everybody to do is to get a mentor and to be a mentor. And it's both of those. It's kind of the yin and the yang. Because if you have a mentor, someone is going to hold you to account, hold your feet to the fire, guide you, teach you, show you, whatever. But also, have you ever noticed that when you try and teach someone else, you put yourself, you know, on a pedestal in a way, and you want to make sure you're delivering.
You're living up to that.
You're living up to it.
You're a teacher, you're a parent in that regard. You said something fascinating. There's a difference between wealth and money. There was a great writer named George Gilder who said that also. He said money is just something that you have. Wealth is the capacity, the ability to create something new. You may have zero money, but be a very wealthy person because you can create something new. Should you look at where you are and say, if I'm in a position where I can't create something new, I should change that position?
I think that if you aren't optimizing your potential, if you're not following your North Star, if you're not being the best version of yourself, then there's always something that you can do to get in the zone, as I call it. Which
even at the same place? Even if you don't quit and say, I'm going to go somewhere else and try it?
I think 99% of people could be an awful lot happier staying in the company they're in, but doing the right thing and doing it the right way, and perhaps, yes.
You were talking about a 5-degree change. You know, if you're going around and around in a circle, and in your book, by the way, I highly recommend this because I could not put it down. You know, you're going around the Earth in a rocket ship. If you just alter by 5 degrees, you take a moonshot. How do you alter by 5 degrees, David?
It's a lot easier to change by 5 degrees
attitude?
than 50 degrees, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people are worried about change, thinking I need to give up everything and do a complete U-turn. It's not like that at all. And so, take for example a company that I worked with a few years ago. When I first started working with the company, they had 25% staff turnover every single year. And the CEO didn't really think that was a problem, but they were in a year away from an IPO. And of course, why were people leaving when it was a year away from an IPO? Well, of course, we then did exit interviews to find out why people were leaving. And there were 10 major reasons, the 9th of which was money. You know, my boss didn't listen to me, no one said thank you, no one told me what to do, blah, blah, blah. So actually what we did over the next 12 months was put in place 5-degree course corrections that made each one of those issues go away. Well, guess what? At the end of a year, the company had double the revenues, treble the profits, 100% improvement in employee engagement. So a series of 5-degree course corrections ended up with the individuals a lot happier at work and the company an awful lot more profitable.
Next time we have to have you here for an hour because you're giving me a wrap, but I just have to ask you on Apple. Is Apple in need of one of these major course corrections right now? Is that why its stock is floundering?
I never like to comment on individual companies, but I think that any company that has grown and grown and grown as amazingly successfully as Apple has, at some point has to stop and think, we can't keep growing like this without perhaps some course corrections. I mean, the amount of money that Apple has, you know, in its books at the moment is bigger than many countries. So it probably does need to think about how it needs a new direction to do as well in the next 20 years as it's done in the last 20 years.
The book is Breakthrough.
Thank you.
Here it is.
That's right, Breakthrough. And David C.M. Carter is the author. The book is available, by the way, for purchase on his website if you want to go that route, and will be available in the U.S. after the new year.
By the way, we're going to be posting 5 more tips from David on our Facebook page. Log on to facebook.com after the bell for more, and who knows, someday you're going to have a television show of your own to share.
Yeah.
I hope so. Thank you.
Highly recommend it. It's great.
Great to have you.
Thank you very
Please
much.
come back and see us again.
Love to. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, the last film in the Twilight series is hitting